choice is yours, Grandma. Either shut down your stinky fish shop or disown yourself from this family and leave the house. I had a hunch about what my daughter-in-law might say, but her blunt way of speaking left me speechless. My name is Miranda. I'm 63 years old and live with my husband Mike, who is 2 years older than me. We got married 39 years ago. Mike, a senior colleague at the same company, pursued me relentlessly. Our relationship began from his passionate advances, and we eventually got married after a whirlwind romance. 2 years later, our first son was born, and Mike's career was flourishing. We were enjoying a seemingly perfect marriage. Then, unexpectedly, we found ourselves running a fish market. "Hey, Miranda, I want to start a fish market," Mike suddenly said, right after our son Lloyd turned 7. It all began when Mike heard through the grapevine that a fish market run by a man who had helped him in the past was in danger of closing due to a lack of successor. "I want to repay the favor to the man who helped me." Even though I understood Mike's feelings, I questioned if it was worth sacrificing our stable life and putting our family at risk. It was the first time I considered divorcing Mike. But what about Lloyd if we divorce? After all, Mike and I were together because we loved each other. Seeing Mike pleading with me time and again, I finally gave in and braced myself for the challenge. 30 years later, "Hello, welcome! Come in, we just got fresh salmon!" Mike's lively voice fills the shop. "Then, Mike, I'll take the salmon today." "Thank you as always." Now, thanks to our young employee's suggestion, we also started selling online, and thankfully our sales are doing well. There were tough times, honestly, but Mike's belief in his benefactor's words, "Business is built on trust," and our mutual efforts and support have brought us this happiness. As we approach our 40th wedding anniversary next year, we were planning for the next chapter of our lives. That's when tragedy struck. We discovered Mike had cancer. Our peaceful life was suddenly disrupted. Mike began his battle with the disease, undergoing medication and chemotherapy and making regular hospital visits. "I'm sorry for this, but I'm not dying tomorrow, so don't worry. There's still so much to do, at home and at the shop. I know it's hard, but I need your help," Mike said bravely. All I could do was nod, holding back my tears. We only told a few people about Mike's illness, his siblings, our employees, and a few close acquaintances. And we decided to tell our son. "I don't plan to take over the fish market," our son said, having moved out to live on his own after graduating college. Now he lives with his wife Lena and their son Andrew. But we've only seen Lloyd's family a few times since he and Lena got married. In the past 3 years. "It's just work. I'm too busy." He hasn't come home or even called. Still, Mike and I always thought, as long as Lloyd and his family are happy, that's all that matters. And we watched Andrew grow from afar. I thought Lloyd would just say, "I'm busy." They may just say, but Lloyd's response was unexpected. "Got it. I'll arrange things at work and come home as soon as I can." And Lloyd did come, bringing Lena and Andrew with him. "Grandpa! Grandma! Hi!" Seeing Andrew, now 10, after 3 years, Mike and I were astonished at how much he had grown. Then, Lloyd made an unexpected proposal. "Can we live together in this house?" "Huh? What's with the sudden decision?" "After hearing about Dad's illness, I want to cherish the time left with him. Besides, it must be hard for Mom to take care of him alone while working." "But what about your job? You can't commute to the office from here, can you?" "Don't worry about work. Right now, Dad's health is what matters most." "We'll support Mike and Miranda." It was strange that Lloyd and his wife, who had been almost estranged, so readily agreed to move in. Normally, it would seem absurd, but at that time, I couldn't make a rational decision. I'd be so relieved if Lloyd and his wife could come help with Mike's care. Maybe spending time with Andrew will motivate Mike to fight cancer and ease his suffering. So I gratefully accepted Lloyd's offer. However, once we started living together, Lloyd and his wife didn't help with Mike's care, the house, or even Andrew. They left everything to me.
We've decided to open a cafe, so we're busy with preparations.
A cafe? You think you can just start a cafe with no experience?
It's okay. We've been planning this for a while.
Okay.
I've been too busy with work to spend time with Andrew, but with the cafe I can take care of him. So Mom, please help me until the cafe opens.
Help, Lloyd? I have the store to run.
Just leave the store to the other employees. And Mom, don't come upstairs where we live. We need our privacy.
That was Lloyd, imposing his needs one-sidedly. Sorry, but could you separate our laundry from yours, Miranda? I don't want the fish smell on our clothes. And Lena, gesturing as if to wave off the smell whenever I returned from the store. Okay, then Lena, can you do Lloyd and Andrew's laundry? Huh? Okay. Lena seemed unhappy, probably not expecting to do the laundry herself. I wouldn't want to get the fish smell on your clothes, right? A little sarcasm seemed okay. Contrastingly, hey, can I sleep in Grandma and Grandpa's room downstairs? Andrew was getting close to us. Of course, Grandpa will be happy too. Something had been bothering me. Andrew was too well behaved for his age. When Lloyd was his age, he used to get annoyed and rebellious, which was difficult for me. But Andrew never showed such behavior since coming to our house. Grandma, can I visit the fish market sometime? Sure. Do you like fish, Andrew? Yes, but Dad and Mom don't like it. Andrew seemed reluctant, worried about his parents' reaction. Don't worry, I'll talk to your parents. You're welcome at the store anytime. Despite my grievances with Lloyd's attitude, I had to be thankful for the time I could spend with Andrew. I reminded myself of this as I juggled Mike's care, household chores, and looking after Andrew. Meanwhile, Mike's condition was worsening, and he eventually had to be hospitalized. Are you okay? You'll collapse before me at this rate. Mike was more worried about me than himself. I'm strong, don't worry. I want to provide Andrew with warm meals and keep the house clean. That's why I'm doing all this. Trying to sound cheerful didn't fool Mike. I'm sorry for making you take care of Lloyd's family too. After I'm gone, please put yourself first and take care of Andrew. Mike said, clutching my hand with his thinning fingers. Mike, don't talk like that. We have our 40th anniversary to celebrate together, remember? Yes, that's right. That day was the last time I could have a real conversation with Mike. Just a few days later, despite my prayers, Mike passed away and went to heaven. Many people attended his funeral, including our store's clients, neighbors, and regular customers. I was proud of Mike's kindness and how much he was loved by everyone. During the funeral, Lloyd and his wife seemed to mourn Mike, but as soon as it ended, Lloyd's demeanor changed and he asked me, Hey Mom, how much is Dad's inheritance? What? I couldn't believe these were the words of a son who just lost his father. I felt so disappointed in the son I had raised. Back home from the church, lost in thought, Andrew came to me. Grandma, are you okay? He looked at me with concern. I'm fine, just a bit tired. Trying to smile, Andrew said to me, It's lonely without Grandpa, isn't it? But you know, I promised Grandpa that I would protect Grandma, so cheer up. What? I had no idea Mike and Andrew had made such a promise. Thank you. Having you here is a great comfort to me. Smiling, I took Andrew's hand. I'm glad I could come to Grandma's house. Before this, Dad and Mom were always fighting. His face clouded over. Dad and Mom were fighting. Yes. Andrew nodded and then told me what had happened before they came to our house. I finally understood the real reason why Lloyd and his wife came to live with us. Grandma will always be on your side, no matter what, so don't hesitate to talk to me about anything. I'll help you, I said earnestly, and Andrew nodded firmly. That night, after Andrew had fallen asleep, I called Lloyd and his wife to the living room to discuss the situation. Before I could ask,
Dad didn't leave a will, right? So his inheritance should be split between me and you, right, Mom?
Lloyd said. Well, yes, that's how it will be. Lloyd and his wife exchanged a sly look and laughed. Miranda, may I say something? Sure, what is it? Now that Mike is gone, please either close down the smelly fish store or disown us and leave this house. We don't want our cafe to be associated with fish smell. What? I half expected Lena to say something like this. Still, her blunt words left me speechless, and she knew that I would never give up the store Mike left me. Then I chose to disown you and leave this house.
Huh?
Lloyd and his wife were shocked. Why are you so surprised? Isn't this what you were waiting for? I asked. Well, that's probably the wisest decision, Lloyd and Lena responded. But I have one condition.
Huh?
I don't mind cutting ties with you, but I don't want to lose my connection with Andrew. If you allow me to see Andrew, I'll leave the house. Miranda, we're not that bad. We wouldn't ask you to cut ties with Andrew, right?
Of course not. Andrew's finally warming up to Mom. No problem.
Oh, is that so? Then we're agreed. But I'll stay here until things settle down with Mike. I also need to find a new place to live. After that, once everything with Mike was settled, I left the house. 2 weeks later, Grandma, help! The house smells terrible! Andrew rushed into the store, panicked. What? The house smells? Aren't Dad and Mom there? No! Then let's hurry! I left the store in my employee's hands and rushed home with Andrew. Entering the house, I was hit by a noxious odor and the stale air. What is this? The source of the smell was the kitchen garbage left unattended, overflowing garbage bags in the sink, unwashed dishes piled up, small bugs flying around, half-eaten food and drink bottles on the table, and garbage bags scattered all over the floor. Andrew, what's going on? Well, it's okay. You can tell me. I won't get angry. Mom didn't clean up. She said, I'll do it later. Don't touch anything. In the middle of the rainy season. It's no wonder it stank. And Dad didn't do anything? No. Lena is bad enough, but Lloyd too? Was it like this in your previous house? When I asked Andrew slowly. Yes. Mom stopped cleaning after she started fighting with Dad. Dad used to clean the kitchen, but Mom wouldn't let anyone in her room. Why didn't you tell me all this when we talked before? That's because... Sorry, Andrew, I asked too many questions. It must be Andrew. I realized he couldn't say his mother wasn't able to clean. Then I remembered Lloyd's words when they first came to our house.
Don't come upstairs.
I'd never gone up before, but now I had to. As I tried to go upstairs, I found garbage scattered there too, opening the door to Lena's room. Oh! The scene was like a trash house from TV. Let's clean up the first floor for now. Grandma, I'll help. That evening, Lloyd, Lena, welcome home, greeting them with Andrew. Why is Miranda in our house? We'll sue for trespassing. Lena was furious and Lloyd looked annoyed. I told them both. Don't say such horrible things. This house is mine. Mike gave it to me as a gift before he died.
What?
They were shocked to learn the truth. Lena, you always called me fish smelly, yet you don't mind your own garbage smell. That's strange. Miranda, why didn't you tell us the house was in your name?
Yeah, Mom, it's unfair to give us false joy.
I just didn't answer because you never asked. Were you planning to live here forever without handling the inheritance? Lloyd was flustered.
It's,
Lloyd is upset, as if he can't find the words to say anything back. I chose to leave this house and cut ties with you. Is that wrong? What will happen to us then? Lena looked desperate.
Mom left, so just give us the house, right?
Lloyd suggested. Furious, I delivered my final ultimatum. Mom, you're more bothersome than the little bugs on the garbage. We cut our ties 2 weeks ago. Why should I hand over this house, which Mike and I cherished, to a stranger? You turned it into a mess in just 2 weeks. It's pitiful for the house. So I've decided just now, I'm going to sell this house. You both need to leave.
That's terrible. How can you just sell the house we're living in?
That's right, Miranda. Lloyd and his wife were in a panic. Terrible? Who's the terrible one here? You didn't offer to live with Mike and me out of kindness, but because you had nowhere else to live, right? I asked calmly, and Lloyd started to get agitated.
What are you talking about?
You quit your job, couldn't pay the mortgage for your new high-rise apartment, and were in trouble, weren't you?
How do you know that? Who told you?
It doesn't matter who told me. I thought it was strange. You suddenly wanted to live together after not contacting us for 3 years. You were planning to live here without paying rent and use Mike's inheritance to open your cafe, right? Realizing I knew everything, Lloyd became defiant.
Regardless of the reason, we're the family living here now. Are you planning to kick out Andrew too?
The hardest part for me was Andrew. If he could be happy, I would have given the house to Lloyd and his family. But what if that wasn't the case? I was troubled, and I came to an answer. I have a good idea.
A good idea?
Andrew can stay with me. Oh. Lena laughed at my suggestion. What's so funny, Lena?
Miranda, we are Andrew's guardians.
I had noticed Andrew outside the room, listening to our conversation, so I called him in. Andrew, come in. Beckoned Andrew. What do you want to do? Tell me your feelings. Andrew faced Lloyd and his wife. I want to live with Grandma. Just the 2 of us. I said once and for all. It was the first time I saw Andrew express his will so clearly. What are you saying? Won't she be lonely without Dad and Mom? Lena was panicking.
Living with us means you can continue to live in this house. You'll be happier with us than Grandma.
Lloyd tried desperately to persuade him. To these 2, Andrew is. But this house was given to Grandma by Grandpa, right? Why do you live here and make Grandma leave? He asked a simple question.
It's,
They were so upset that they were reluctant to say anything, and I put the kibosh on them. Being lectured by a child. Aren't you ashamed as parents? Wake up and realize your selfishness. Unable to bear Andrew's direct gaze, Lloyd and his wife reluctantly agreed to leave and let me take care of Andrew. Later, Andrew, this is your new home now. Our small castle, just you and me. We moved to a 50-year-old house that Mike and I had planned to renovate for our retirement. We used subsidies and grants from the local government and had it remodeled affordably. This house was beautifully done by the grandson of someone Grandpa used to know. Wow! Andrew was amazed as he looked around. Then Lloyd and his wife came with a ridiculous request.
Can we use Mom's house as a traditional house cafe?
And Lloyd and his wife came in to say something ridiculous. They wanted to use Mike's inheritance for their cafe, but ran into budget issues and heard we were living in the old house. Dad and Mom haven't learned anything. This is Grandma and my castle with Grandpa. Please leave. Andrew shooed them away from me, fulfilling his promise to protect me. Ding dong. Yes?
It's a delivery.
Who is it from? I almost dropped the box when I saw the sender's name. Why? when you opened the box,
Dear Miranda,
inside was a letter of gratitude from Mike to me and a ruby necklace. Mike had kept his promise to celebrate our 40th anniversary.
Miranda, you'll say this is too expensive, but accept it without complaining. I quit smoking to buy this.
Typical of Mike. Grandma, why are you crying? It's tears of joy. Mike, do you like it? I felt as if the photo of Mike was praising me, and I couldn't help but cry.
Miranda, you look great. You look great.
I felt like Mike in the photo was giving me a compliment, and it brought tears to my eyes.